Man, I think The Bear is the best show on TV right now. Like, it is absolutely insane. Like, I love Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso was amazing. That was like my show. I didn't think anything could beat that or come close to it. But now, of course, Ted Lasso came to an end with season 3. I was really sad and disappointed by that. I was like, oh, great. Now nothing will even come close to this. But man, The Bear, this is like the next best thing to Ted Lasso. I love this just as much because The Bear, obviously, season 1 came out last year. I didn't watch it when it came out. I just watched it for the first time just to get caught up ahead of season 2. I watched it last week, just binge watched all the episodes. I really enjoyed it, but then you got season 2, which, oh my god, this show is so good. Literally, the only thing I don't like about The Bear is that it's not a weekly release. Like, I personally, I'm just not a fan of the binge model just because, like, I don't have the time to sit down and watch the whole season in one day. And plus, I mean, like, it's fine. Like, it is kind of a fun experience to, like, binge watch these shows. I watched this in a couple days. But now it's over. Like it's just over now. But like with how good every single episode is, even on its own, these could all be standalone episodes. Like, imagine getting one episode every week, like that anticipation between episodes. That would be awesome. I do really wish we got that, but that's not even a gripe with the show itself because The Bear is perfect. Like, there's a reason it has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. This show is insane. It's awesome. If you guys don't watch The Bear and you don't know anything about it, you need to watch. It's on Hulu right now. It's an FX series. It's about this guy who comes in to take over his brother's restaurant after he committed suicide and tries to like revamp the place and really get it all up in quality and all that. And just this show is so real. Like, that's the thing I love about it. Like, obviously, like, the acting is great and the story and the writing and everything, but the thing about it is that this show just feels real. Like, there's a lot of tension and there's a lot of fighting and yelling and arguing, and like, it's not just for the sake of it. Like, this show, it's so good at building the tension and that stress. Like, I get so stressed out watching this show, but in a good way. Like, the writing on this show is brilliant to get it to this point because just everything comes together so spectacularly. Like, each character has such a great arc and there's so much character development. The story comes full circle by the end. It's just beautiful. If you guys don't watch this show, you need to. I highly recommend it. It's just so good. It's so good. I do want to talk spoilers in this video just because it's kind of hard to talk about all the big stuff I loved in this season without getting into spoilers. So here's your warning now if you haven't seen The Bear season 2 yet. Again, it's amazing. You need to watch it. But yeah, so let's talk about this with a little bit of a spoiler filledness. So The Bear, obviously this season is about revamping the Beef, now reopening it as The Bear. And, going into the season, I was kind of expecting to just start off the season with like, okay, The Bear is open now. But no, that's what the whole season is about, is, doing some remodeling, revamping of the menu, and like reframing everything to get The Bear up and running. That's the story of the whole season. And that's something I didn't expect, but something I did actually end up really, really enjoying. But my favorite part of the season of all, first of all, it's a little longer. Last season it was only 8 episodes. This season it's 10 episodes. And my favorite part of this season is that it takes characters that obviously we were introduced to in the first season. There were characters there that really just didn't get enough time in the spotlight, and that we didn't really know a lot about some of these characters, and you really get to dive deep into every character in this season. I mean, there's standalone episodes for characters. Like, my favorite episode of the season, I think, is episode 4, because that's where Marcus might be one of my favorite characters. Now, last season, like, we really didn't know much about him. Like, it was like, okay, he's a baker, he likes baking stuff. That was all we knew about him. This season we find out, he's got his mother who's in the hospital hospital in a coma, something similar to that. She's sick. She could be dying. He goes to Copenhagen, and we just get this great episode. Like it was just like such a nice, calming, peaceful episode that just like put a smile on my face. Just getting to see Marcus be happy, enjoying himself, learning things from Will Poulter, because I mean that's great. Will Poulter, great actor, loved the guy, loved seeing him here. He was a great addition. He fit in so smoothly. Like there's so many celebrity cameos in this season. It's insane. But the thing I love about it though is that it's not like super forced. Like they blend in so perfectly. And obviously the perfect example of that is episode 6, probably my second favorite episode of the season, because episode 6 is insane. First of all, this episode is the longest of the whole series. It's like almost an hour long. And it's a flashback episode. It's to Christmas years ago. And we get to see the family. We get to see Carmy. We get to see obviously John Bernthal back as Michael. Obviously Richie is there. We get to see Richie's pregnant wife. Yeah, they were married at that point. Jamie Lee Curtis as the mom was insane. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously a fantastic actress. She literally just won an Oscar for her performance in Everything Everywhere All at Once, which she was great in that movie. But honestly, I think her performance here is even better. Like, she is insane. Like, her character is, like, actually, like, mentally insane, and unstable. But, like, I love that, like, steadiness of her mind just going down and down and down more throughout the episode. Like, she literally drives the car through the side of the house. It's insane. And then you got John Mulaney in there. You got Bob Odenkirk. You got Sarah Paulson. That was crazy. And again, it just blends together so nicely and so well and so seamlessly. And then another kind of solo episode, episode 7, focusing on Richie. My third favorite episode, probably. I have a lot of favorite episodes this season. Richie was a character who in the first, I mean, I liked him last season, but season 2, he really turned around. Like, he has probably like the biggest arc out of any of the characters in the show. So I really, really love seeing that in episode 7, getting to see him kind of hatch out of that shell and really dive deep into those layers within himself and actually find out what he likes, what he's good at. And the scene with Olivia Colman was great. Just getting to see this new side of Richie and then seeing how he then implements that to the bear when he gets back to working with everybody else there. That was just, that was great to see. That was awesome. Just the character development in this season is absolutely insane. It's just off the charts, and it's just great. It's so good. All of our characters, even Tina gets a nice little spotlight here. She doesn't get her own episode, but I mean, getting to see her go to the culinary school and everything, that was great to see. Obviously, Carmy's sister, Sugar, like, she gets a much bigger role in this season as well. Let's see. There's just so much that happened in this season. Obviously, like the soundtrack was amazing once again, as always, but like I think maybe even better this season. Like, season 2 just elevates everything so much, that there's just so much going on, but in a good way. Like, this is some of the best performances, some of the best writing I've ever seen. Sydney, I will say, probably doesn't get the most to do in this season, but I do love that she still obviously has a very large role here. But Carmy is a nice, interesting story as well, because I feel like really the major theme of this season is just learning to take risks and learning to say yes to yourself. Because I mean, if you can't say yes to yourself, how can anybody else say yes to you? Like, I think that's one of the most important takeaways from this season. Like, that's one of the things with Carmy is, like, everybody in this season kind of experienced a form of that message, but Carmy really, everybody kind of learned from that and like came out of it in the end and like, tried those new things, took those risks. Carmy, he took a risk, but it went the other way for him. Obviously started this relationship with Claire, which was great. I love Molly Gordon, so I love seeing her in this season. I loved seeing that relationship blossom. Like, you could tell he was really in love, but at the same time, it served as a distraction, and it took away that focus from his job as the head chef here at the Bear. And it just, it was just so interesting. It was just so interesting. And especially in the end, when he's just locked in the walk-in refrigerator, and he is just like speaking his mind. He is like coming to these realizations on his own, and it's just so beautiful. Like, this show is just so good. I can't even put it into words. It's so good. Like, I was brought to tears multiple times. There were multiple times I got a smile on my face just because I was happy for these people. Like, again, the realness is here, that you just, because this show is so real, because these characters are so real, you feel for them. You feel these real emotions. And like in, I think it was like episode 8 or something like that, when they were like testing to the guest, the gas thing or something like that. And then that was basically to determine if they could open the restaurant or not. Like, when the guy said, like, all right, you guys got yourself a restaurant, like, you passed the test, like, I literally jumped up out of my seat and like actually cheered out loud. Like, I was so excited for them. Like, it just made me so happy. And then the end of the season just tears you right back down. And that's like I love this show. Like, it's so good on both ends of the spectrum, on like making you happy and just like destroying your emotions. There was a lot of that in episode 10, because like you were at like the highest to highest, things were going great. The grand opening of the restaurant, the Bear, it's awesome. Things are going awesome. But then everything falls apart. Carmy gets stuck in the refrigerator. Claire hears him saying stuff. Their relationship is probably over. Sydney's freaking out. She's thrown up in the alleyway. Richie ends up yelling at Carmy, and they get into a whole big fight. Just like everybody is all over the place. And then the ending with Marcus, he gets the text message from his mom's nurse. It kind of seems like his mom maybe died. Like, that gets me, like, I started crying when I saw that. The scene with Jamie Lee Curtis in the finale as well. Oh my God, what a beautiful, powerful, heartbreaking scene. That, like, the fact that she does love her children, but she just doesn't know how to show it. Like, it's to the point where she doesn't even want to go in to the restaurant and see her children, because she's afraid that she'll mess it up, that she'll hurt them even more than she already has. Like, it's so heart-wrenching. And again, that's the thing I love about this show. It's just so real. I love the realism and the realness of the Bear. It's so well done. It's so well executed. And I just, the show hasn't been renewed for season 3 yet, but I cannot wait for season 3. I guarantee it's going to get renewed, because obviously, like, the show basically ended on a cliffhanger. So we got to continue the story. This show is getting great reviews. Everybody's loving this. I can see exactly why. The show's just so good. Like, you can see, like, again, there's so many cameos from like big names in Hollywood. Like, literally, Jamie Lee Curtis is an Oscar winner, and she's in this season. She has a fairly sizable role in this season. Like, she's like one of the main characters in episode 6, and then she reappears in the end. Like, the reason that all these big celebrities are showing up in the season, because they saw how amazing the first season was, and they see the potential for the show. There's a reason these big names are coming to a show like this. It's because of the quality, and because of just how fantastic the Bear really is. I just can't say enough good things about this. Like, it's crazy that literally a week ago I had never watched the Bear. Then I binge watched the first season. I really enjoyed it. Watched season 2. I just fell in love with it even more. Season 2 is so amazing. I loved it so much. And guys, I'm gonna need to know your thoughts on the Bear season 2 in the comments down below as well. Who are your favorite characters? What were your favorite episodes? And what are you most looking forward to see? Do you have any theories for the Bear season 3? So anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything goes on in the movie life.